she take the money and run?
You did not rebuild the house. Do you get where I'm going, Miss Cassis?
No.
I have all the answers.
This is Judge Judy.
Soraya Cassis is suing her former contractor, Tony Duarte, for failing to perform services on her home after it had burned down.
Now it's case number 45 on the calendar in the matter of Cassis versus Duarte. Parties have been sworn in.
Ms. Cassis, according to your complaint, you had a house that burned down and you hired the defendant to do some demolition work to finish demolishing the house and to take away the debris. You claim that you made payments to him and he didn't fulfill his obligation. That's what the case is about. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. And you're suing him for $5,000 for an unfinished project.
Well, I basically made a claim against his bond company, and my award for the bond company...
No, just...
Oh, we're not talking...
You're suing him today for $5,000. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, so I have a few preliminary questions for you.
Okay.
What was the address of the house that burned down?
Fran Street.
When did you buy... Did you pay for the house in 2007?
I only paid $95,000, 97.
No. I want you to think very carefully. How much did you pay for the house? Just a second. In 2005, would it have been closer to 2005 when you purchased Fran Street?
Possibly, and it was...
Fran Street.
Yes. I'm sorry if I said the wrong number.
That's correct. And that house was purchased for approximately $88,000. Is that right?
No, I had two mortgages. The $88,000 was one mortgage, and I had a second mortgage.
And what was the other mortgage?
Yeah, I don't...
And to whom?
It started out with Chase Bank, but they sold in the secondary mortgage market like 3 times.
Who owned the mortgage on the house?
I did. May I say something?
No, I want you to...
Okay.
I asked you a simple question.
Okay.
And I want you to understand, Miss Cassis, that I have all the answers.
Okay.
You bought the house that we're talking about on Fran Street that burned down. How much did you pay for it when you purchased it? That's a simple question.
Your Honor,
I have homes over the years, and
I don't remember exactly. All I remember is that it was creative financing. What I could fix up the house. So I don't remember exactly what it was, but I thought it was 97.
I don't want exactly. Give me within $5,000. How much was it? You lived there.
I don't remember. It was 95 or 97,000. I don't remember.
Okay, 95. Shh, just a second. 95.
If you see the $88,000, that's the first mortgage. There was creative financing. They gave me back money. So that's why I...
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay.
Now, you insured the house for $230,000. When? In what year?
Okay.
Take a breath before you answer my question.
Okay.
You insured the house for $230,000 when?
I insured the house every year. Every year I would insure it for the maximum amount to rebuild, because I knew that I had to do that because building was expensive. So every single year I had maximum insurance on it.
Insurance. Okay, here we go. So the maximum insurance was $230,000. Your house burned down in what month and year?
November of 2017.
And at that time, the insurance company, according to you, was going to give you a payout of $200,000. That's according to your statement that you signed.
Your Honor, it was $230,000 because I have 3 estimates from 3 contractors that it would cost $230,000 at the end of the year. One of them is from Doherty, and I have 2 other ones from...
Just a second. I'm not finished questioning you yet. Don't get beyond my questions.
Sorry.
So the house that you paid under $100,000 for, you were now getting from the insurance company $230,000. Now, you had an electrical fire.
Yes, ma'am, but they were...
That's what you say here.
They were not getting...
That's what you say here.
Yes, there was electrical fire. The fireman said that on the report, yes.
Just a second. That's not what I asked you. I said, you said you had an electrical fire.
According to the...
Where are you currently... I'm speaking. Where are you currently living?
I bought a house in California City.
You bought a house in California City, and the address of... Just a second. And the address of that house is 21.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
Who owns that house?
I own it, but I just recently put it in a trust, for my daughters, but I don't know if it's been recorded yet.
How much did you pay for that house?
I got it. Basically, it's not a house. It's a town. They're attached together, so I paid.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. Now, who is Mark Anthony?
A person I gave a deli owner that I gave money to help him open up his deli. That I thought that was going to be my business. We had an agreement. After I bought the house, I invested in this deli, but he breached contract also.
Mm-hmm. So you are at the same time suing Mr. in another place?
I am, yes.
Yes.
I've already sued him, actually.
Okay. Now, how much did the insurance company settle with you for on the burnt-out house?
Well,
that's a question. I expect an answer. A figure, a number.
Your Honor.
A number.
A
number.
It's replacement costs and actual value costs. So when they settle...
No, I asked you a question.
Okay.
I expect a numerical answer. How much did the insurance company pay you for the house?
I received
that had an electrical fire.
I received $90,000 for property that was burnt. $90,000, and I received only.
That's not all you received.
Wait, I'm not done.
Come on.
I also received 120. I think it was 100. I think. And then I had to pay off my mortgage, which left me with $70,000 to buy a new house.
Just a second. Just a second. I asked you for an entire figure. How much did you receive from the insurance company for the house?
For the house, $120,000 because I did not build.
And for the contents?
$90,000. $90,000.
How much did Mr. Duarte's bond company pay you?
The award or what they ended up paying me?
The award.
They awarded me $13,000, and I don't recall the rest of $13,000.
Did you sue the bond company?
I made a claim with the bond company.
My question, Ms. Castillo, you made a claim with the bond company.
Yes, I did.
For how much? His bond company. For how much?
I made the claim. I requested the full $15,000, but...
You requested $15,000 from
Yes.
his bond company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how much did his bond company give you?
They ended up giving me only $4,800.
Do you get where I'm going, Miss Cassis?
No.
Do you get where I'm going?
No, Your Honor. I wanted to build my house. I have proof of a...
So what?
May I show? I have all the proof in the world to show you the way this incident turned out.
Listen, according to your complaint, Ms. Cassis, you paid Mr. Duarte, according to your signed complaint, $4,500 in advance. You said he did not complete the work. He did not demolish, nor did he haul away the stuff that he was supposed to haul away so that you could rebuild the house. That's what this is about. Well, his bond company, probably with his consent, paid you $4,800. You did not rebuild, I'm speaking, you did not rebuild the house. You took the $230,000 that you got from the insurance company for this electrical fire.
No, I didn't, ma'am.
You purchased another property.
No.
I'm just
I did not receive $230,000.
What you just told me.
No, I never received $230,000 from the insurance company.
Well, you just told me you received $120 and $90.
You know, Your Honor.
That's what you told me.
Your Honor, let me tell you something. They didn't just give me that money. I had to work to protect myself because of what he did to me, okay? Now, if you would just let me speak and prove what really happened, I wanted my house to be rebuilt. A $250,000 house is much better than going into a condo in California City, okay? I have, through emails, been back and forth with him for 12 months, 10 months, okay? With his excuses. I had my attorney write him a letter. I have all of the proof right here. And
I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Ms. Cassis?
Yes.
Pay attention. This is not the Scopes trial. You paid him $4,800. You claimed he didn't do the work for $4,800. His bond company gave you $4,800.
And later today,
show me pictures of what you're dissatisfied with the rear of the car.
I didn't bring it with me.
Well, then you thought you were coming to the beach today?
No.
Today you're coming to court.
Soraya Cassis says her former contractor, Tony Duarte, never finished the demolition of her home after it had burned down.
Now, you paid him $4,800.
And he didn't.
You got $4,800.
No, because
from the bond company.
No, because now the demolition costs $8,000. I have the estimates.
Miss Cassis?
Yes.
Miss Cassis?
Yes.
Pay attention.
Yes.
This is not the Scopes trial. You paid him $4,800. You claimed he didn't do the work for $4,800.
And for the whole year, I paid $3,000 of fence rental. I have had to put taxes on it, which is another $1,500. Okay, and the new estimate to do demo is $8,000. So that's where they came in. They did their investigation on everything I gave them, and I have the fence receipt.
How much money did you get from the insurance company?
$4,800
for your house.
But $4,800.
No,
but
that's his bond company. How much did you get from the insurance company for your house that burned down?
$120,000, but I had to pay a mortgage off with it. They didn't give me the check. They gave the check to my mortgage company.
Just how much were you left with that enabled you to buy the house where you...
$70,000.
After they paid off the mortgage.
Yes.
And you used that as a down payment to buy another place to live.
No, I actually paid cash for the place that I live because I...
Okay, we're done here. Your Honor, you paid him $4,800. His bond company gave you $4,800.
Your Honor,
we're done.
Can I
Case
please...
is over. Period.
Your Honor.
We're done. I hope there are people.
Can I please
watching this case. We're done.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to add, sir?
I do. That's what I put up with for months, and it was never a demo. That's the part that upset me. I took screenshots of my phone where we had text messaging back and forth. I have one right here where it says, I can clean the whole place and dispose of the trash for $4,500. That's all I was doing. Someplace along the line, I guess her insurance company wanted it demoed. I said, to demo it, you need to get an engineer out there. We got to do. I told her all this stuff. I sent her emails. She ignored most of it. See,
we're done.
Parties are excused.
I just wanted to get rid of this person. This has been a nightmare for me. She did send documents to the insurance company saying that I was her contractor. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm just glad it's over.
Parties in the matter of Reyes Ruiz versus Linares. Step to the podium, please.
Jorge Reyes Ruiz is suing body shop owner Jorge Linares for improperly fixing his car after an accident.
Mr. Ruiz, the defendant is a mechanic, and you were in an automobile accident, and you were hit from behind.
Correct.
So the accident was clearly the fault of the other driver.
Correct.
Who had insurance.
Yes.
And that happened in what month and year, Mr. Ruiz?
September 2019.
2019 or 18?
It's a little blurry, 18, yeah.
And what was the damage to your car when it was hit from behind, rear damage to your car?
Correct.
When did you take the car to be fixed by the defendant?
October of 2018, yeah, approximately. Yeah, because the car got damaged in September, so the adjuster...
No. First of all, you were coming to court today. This is what I'm trying to put together from your complaint. Your car was rear-ended by a car that had insurance. You took it at some point to the defendant. Prior to taking it to the defendant, you had another accident where a car hit your car in another location.
Correct.
That car took off. So when you took your car to the defendant to be fixed, you specifically said to him, do not fix the other damage to the car because that wasn't caused by the person who hit me in the rear. That's what you say.
Correct.
Because you either weren't planning on fixing it or you didn't have the money to fix it.
Correct.
The defendant, according to you, dealt with the insurance company, and then you went to pick up your car. Was the rear of your car fixed?
Yes.
Is my question. And the rear of your car was fixed to your satisfaction?
No, it wasn't.
Well, show me pictures of what you're dissatisfied with the rear of the car.
I didn't...
Coming to the beach today?
No.
Today you're coming to court.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
is the damage that you're showing me on the driver's side and the fixed that you showed me the passenger side.
Yes, made a mistake.
You
We're all
made a
human.
mistake. You know when you made a mistake?
Yes.
When you came here.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jorge Reyes Ruiz claims body shop owner Jorge Linares improperly fixed his car after an accident.
So this is what your case is about, Mr. Ruiz. So you're not dissatisfied with the work that he did on the rear of your car. Because if you were dissatisfied with that work, you would have brought me a photograph, right?
Correct.
Right. What you state in your complaint was that the defendant also tried to fix or to make it look better where you had had the other accident, something that you didn't ask him to do and didn't want him to do because you weren't going to fix it. And so when you went to pick up your car, the work that the defendant was supposed to do on the rear was done to your satisfaction. He touched the side of your car. You say you were dissatisfied with the work that he did on the side of your car. $1,000 to fix that work.
That is correct.
So now I would like to see two things. I want you to show me a photograph of the car before he touched it, after he finished it. Then I want to see the paid bill from the company that fixed it for $4,000, and I want to see a picture of the car that you drove to court with today. Do you understand what I want to see?
So you want a picture?
Mr. Ruiz.
Yes, I understand.
I want a picture of, if you have it, what the car looked like before the defendant touched the side of your car.
It's right here.
That's what the car looked like before he touched. Oh, that's a huge, that's a side swipe.
Yeah, somebody.
So
yeah.
now I would like to see what it looked like when he finished it, that you said you were dissatisfied with. Is that the same side of the car?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
First? Okay. Well, on one side, Mr. Ruiz, you're showing me the driver's side of the car.
That is correct, yes.
The other picture looks like the passenger side. Am I crazy?
No, you're right.
Is one side the driver's side and one side the passenger side?
Well, I when, you know, I was a little
Wait, just leave them both up there.
Oh.
Well, you look at them and then tell me, is the damage that you're showing me on the driver's side and the fixed that you're showing me the passenger side? That's either a yes or a no. Are they two different sides of the car?
Yes, they're two
Mr.
different sides of the car. I made a mistake.
What? You
We're all
made a
human.
mistake. You know when you made a mistake? Do you know when you made a mistake, Mr. Ruiz?
Yes.
When you came here. Yeah, when you came here. Goodbye, Mr. Ruiz. Unless you have another picture you want to show me. Unless
No,
you
I
want to
don't.
show me the same side of the car.
I do, but
Goodbye,
I
Mr.
would have to
Did you
go
think
to
that
my
I was
car
stupid?
and
Goodbye.
make a
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
She spread lies after lies, calling my dogs murderers. I don't deny her feelings. I deny the way she has gone on about it.
I'm happy.
Well, I did come a little unprepared.
I tell you 3 times, please send it up, bring it over, and I take care.
When you don't have the correct information, there's really no case.
Now I'm gonna keep record for anything.
It's a lesson learned.
One dog owner spotted trouble.
He sort of immediately started to growl and be aggressive towards a larger dog.
My dog's never growled in his life, Your Honor.
You don't know that. You only had the dog 6 weeks.
A new owner sees what he wants.
Tails were wagging, no barks, no growling.
It happened so quickly. He had already bitten her and had her in his mouth.
To me, it still wasn't like a vicious attack.
There's no question that your dog injured hers.
This is Judge Judy. Gemma Koster is suing fellow dog owner Michael Daniels for vet bills resulting from an attack at a dog park.
Judge's case number 43 on the calendar in the matter of Costa versus Daniels. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Costner, it is your claim that the defendant's dog attacked your dog in a dog park.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Says that actually your dog was the one that nipped at areas specifically designed for smaller animals. Tell me when this incident took place.
It took place on Friday, July 31st. It was probably about 4:45-ish.
Had you been to this dog park before?
Yes, I've gone multiple times. I take my dogs probably 3 to 4 times a week, about the same time every day.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 terrier mixes. So one is a rat terrier Boston Terrier mix, and the other is a Chihuahua rat terrier mix.
Give me approximate weights on each.
Ellie is about 22 pounds. Prancer is smaller. He's 15 pounds.
Reasonable size. What kind of dog do you have, Mr. Daniels?
I have a golden lab mix named Jack.
And about how much does he weigh?
About 91 pounds, according to his last vet visit.
How old is he?
We were told he was 3 years old, Your Honor, when we rescued him back in June.
So you rescued him in June. This happened within about a month of your becoming his new owners.
Correct, about 6 weeks.
So I would assume that you had not been to this dog park frequently before.
Not frequently. We've went the prior 2 weeks prior to this third visit.
Is there, Mr. Daniels, a separate area for large dogs and small dogs that is marked in the dog park?
Yes, Your Honor, clearly marked on the gates of both entrances.
Is that right?
There's a sign that has a
Okay, but what is the recommended weight limit for small dogs?
I believe it's 30 pounds for the large side and under 30 pounds for the small side.
Are they fenced in any way?
Yes, the 2 areas are fenced in separately, correct.
Could you tell me why you didn't take your 2 small dogs into the small dog area?
So actually, we tend to go on both sides, so we've taken them onto both areas.
The question was a simple one. I have small dogs, and if there's a dog area that is suggested for small dogs, I would certainly take my dogs into a small dog area rather than one where there are much larger dogs. As a dog owner for 60 years, it's just would be my preference, and there's a certain wisdom to that. That's why they separate the areas large and small. So I'm just curious as to why you took your 2 small dogs into the large dog area.
Honestly, I've done it for a long time, and Ellie enjoys playing with larger dogs. You know, she's 22 pounds, but she's pretty tall, so she likes to play with bigger dogs. And there are way more details to this story that really show that, honestly, the size of my dog has nothing to do with this, and I would love to share those details.
I'm going to let you. I'm just curious as to why, and I'm certainly interested in hearing the details of what you have to tell me. But you're the parent of the 2 dogs, just like you're the parent into a toddler pool. And if you take older children who are a little more rough and tumble, I would tend to take my toddler into an area where there were other toddlers, so that if they fell or if they were pushed or something, they would be shoved or pushed by someone of an appropriate size so that they wouldn't be hurt. And I sort of feel the same way about dogs. If you have a 100-pound dog as opposed to a 15-pound dog, a 100-pound dog can cause a great deal of damage to a 15-pound dog. So I, as a parent, would want to exercise due caution. That's what I'm suggesting to you. That doesn't mean that the defendant wasn't at fault. I'll hear you. I'm just talking to you about you being the parent. The dog doesn't have any choice about where to go, just like a toddler doesn't have any choice as to where to go. The parent puts the child in a position. If you put your child in a position where they can get seriously injured because they are tiny and the other kids are bigger, well, that's your responsibility. So now you're going to explain to me how it's Mr. Daniels' responsibility to pay for the vet bills when he had his big dog in the big dog area.
Sure, absolutely. So, you know, on that day, as per usual, I took them to the park. They played outside where we've interacted with similar dogs.
Just a second.
Yes.
Ms. Costa, you're going very fast. When you say you took them to the bigger side, in order to get them to the bigger side, do you have to go out the smaller side and purposely go into another gate to go into the larger side?
Yes.
So you left the small side, you went to the big side. And?
Correct. And we entered the park, Ellie is the one who was hurt, and she's 22 pounds, just to clarify. So she went off and played. They played for about half an hour. It's a very big park. So after she had played and interacted with the dogs who were there, who she knows, I went to sit in the chairs that are directly across from the entrance, and both Ellie and Prance were sitting next to me. And because I'm facing the entrance, I can see people who are coming in and out of the park. So I did see Mr. Daniels enter the park with his dog, take his dog off the leash. A lot of the dogs were congregated in a shade area. He went over, that dog went over, they played for a little bit, and then pretty quickly, his dog focused on a whippet dog, and that dog sort of started to scream and get scared and start to run towards the gate. I watched his dog chase that dog towards the gate. Other dogs followed, as dogs do in parks. The owners came. I believe he took
the owner of the whippet.
Yes,
correct.
correct.
The owner of the whippet came and took his dog and left.
Correct. And Mr. Daniels had his dog by the collar. He let go of his dog, and his dog ran very quickly towards the opposite end of the park, probably about 15 to 20 feet from where I was sitting. And he sort of immediately started to growl and be aggressive towards a larger Australian Shepherd dog.
My dog's never growled in his life, Your Honor. That's not incorrect.
Just a second, Mr. Daniels.
Okay.
First of all, don't interrupt her. Second of all, you don't know that. You only had the dog 6 weeks. Okay, go ahead.
So I watched as his dog sort of acted aggressively towards this Australian Shepherd. The owner picked up the Shepherd. You know, it was a big dog, but he picked him up, to try to separate him. Once again, Mr. Daniels had his dog.
Just a second.
No.
Yes.
Ms. Costa, just a second.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
I told you not to interrupt.
Okay.
They hadn't been fighting.
They had not made contact. They were barking at each other very aggressively.
Correct.
Correct.
They were barking.
Very
Correct.
aggressively, yes.
That's not a...
Fine.
Sorry.
They were barking very aggressively. You're interrupting again, which is irritating.
Sorry, Your Honor.
So now, and?
Okay, so at that point, I said, no, this is not right. This does not look like it's going to go well. I'm to keep the two dogs on. So I put them both on the leash. I stood up. I started to walk towards the gate. I didn't get very far, probably 10 feet, and his dog ran over towards mine, again, barking aggressively. And so I tried to put my foot sort of in between the two dogs and pull my dog back on the leash to separate.
Which dog? You
Ellie.
had two dogs.
Yes, so Ellie, the terrier, she's the 22-pound dog. And so she's the one who interacted with his dog, and his dog was barking.
Okay.
And so
now, when his dog... Just a second.
Yes, absolutely.
Ms. Costa, when his dog ran up to you and to Ellie and was barking, did Ellie bark?
After he growled the second time,
Mr.
yes.
Costa, so his dog barked and growled once, and then Ellie started to bark.
Yes.
Now the two dogs are barking at each other.
Correct. So I...
Just a second. So you have a 22-pound dog barking at a 90-pound dog.
Yes.
Are they facing each other?
Yes.
And you have yours on a leash.
Correct.
And Mr. Daniels does not have his on a leash.
Correct.
Is there any reason why you didn't pick Ellie up?
So
as soon as you saw his dog start to come over to where you were...
It happened so...
I'm
so sorry.
It happened so... You started to say it happened so quick.
Get down to pick her up. He had already bitten her and had her in his mouth.
You lost me at that they were two dogs facing each other and barking at each other. And then you said it all happened so quickly. The Golden had the terrier in his mouth.
Your Honor, barking at each other, it's a split second of barking. I mean, it was probably 4 seconds from when the dog started barking, Ellie started barking. I pulled back on the leash to try to separate them, and immediately his dog had already bitten Ellie.
Now, you want to tell me what you saw, Mr. Daniels?
Sure. When I first got to the park, I let Jack off the leash, and he ran in the back with the other dogs. They kind of congregated near the back area. And tails were wagging, tongue was out, no barks, no growling. And then my dog looked at the, she said it was a whippet. I thought it was an Italian Greyhound. Either way, the dog was probably 10 pounds dripping wet. And it sounded like a squeaky toy. And so it started to run, and all the dogs...
But it was also a small dog.
It should not have been there. Absolutely, Your Honor. So
it should not have been there.
All the dogs chased him, and that's where she's referring to the incident of my dog showing signs of aggression, which I completely disagree with.
Okay, and then?
So me and another guy, we kind of ran towards the dogs because we were chasing along. So he got there first. He picked up the small dog over his head and kind of, did one of these. And sure, it had some dust on it, but there was no... And during that time frame, there was no growling, bare teeth, no aggressive behavior. It was a dog playing chase.
It was sufficient, Mr. Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
It was sufficient so that the owner of the small dog, who I don't think belonged in that park,
agreed,
went over to his dog, picked it up, checked it out to make sure it wasn't injured, because he was afraid, it appeared to you, that maybe his dog had gotten into some sort of a kerfuffle with your dog.
It's possible. I don't believe so, because there was about 6 or 7 other dogs in that area, and he wasn't the dog owner. He was just a guy who was trying to stop.
Mr. Daniels.
Yes?
Try not to zig and zag.
Okay.
This is my business.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You said Jack went over to the plaintiff's dog in a friendly way and just tried to sniff her. The plaintiff's dog panicked, and it snapped and lunged at Jack's nose.
That's what it appeared.
That's not what you just told me.
Gemma Coster says it injured her terrier, Ellie.
Okay, you ran over there with the owner of the 10-pound dog because you wanted to make sure that there was no damage done, not by the whippet to your dog, but by your dog to the whippet. Is that a fair statement?
Sure.
Okay, so now you are aware of the fact that, well, you should be alerted to the fact that your dog
Your Honor,
has the capacity to cause alarm to both you and the owner of the whippet.
If I didn't chase after my dog during that incident, I would be a negligent dog owner. Of course I want to. If you heard a squeaky dog.
That's not what I said to you, sir.
Okay.
Now you are in a position so that you know that your dog has the capacity to not only cause concern to you, so that you ran over there, but to the owner of the small dog.
That wasn't his dog.
That's clear that you were aware of that. So were you.
Yes.
That's when you should have left the park. According to you, what you saw was this dog being aggressive towards a small dog that already really wasn't supposed to be in that area, and you had 2 small dogs. Now, if dog area, and I saw another small dog being potentially the victim of a larger aggressive dog, that's when I would say, you know what? I'm getting out of this large dog area. I'm taking my dog back to the small dog area where the largest dog can't be more than 30 pounds. That's what I would have done as the parent. That's your responsibility. The dog can't take himself or herself to the small dog park. Just as he saw that aggressive behavior, so did you. Now, how much after this first, what you described as aggressive behavior, was there some sort of Mr. Daniels kerfuffle with another dog, where another owner picked their dog up and left? Come on. Was it a minute? Was it 2 minutes? Was it 3 minutes? Was it 5 minutes?
Well, I don't actually remember the incident with the dog that she's talking about.
If you don't remember it, I'll let her describe it to me. How much time elapsed between the first incident that you saw and the second?
Less than a minute. He had let go of his dog, and it immediately ran to the other end of the park and got into the altercation with the second dog.
Okay. So now, Mr. Daniels, you want to describe to me the interaction as you saw it between Ms. Coster's dog, Ellie, terrier, and your dog?
Sure.
Were you there?
Yeah. The smaller dog, and Jack was back playing with the other dogs, and it was about the time when I had walked back there. It's about 150 feet. And when I got to that area, I'm walking towards my dog, and there's a skirmish, a scuffle. There's 2 dogs, and then, boom, it just happened, and it ended with her dog getting bit. He didn't latch onto the dog. It wasn't, like a vicious attack. Unfortunately happened. But to me, it still wasn't like a vicious attack. It was a dog just reacting to another small dog that shouldn't have been there.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, but that is not true.
Just a second.
Okay.
Actually, what you said to me was, it happened in a split second, because I said, why didn't you pick up your dog? You said the whole thing happened in a split second.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When you rescue a dog, before you allow that dog to be free in a situation where they can cause injury...
We had 9 training sessions.
Just the training sessions clearly didn't work.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gemma Coster claims a dog owned by Michael Daniels attacked her terrier at a dog park.
Now, Mr. Daniels, there's no question that your dog injured hers. And what you said to me in your answer was act this dog in a friendly way and just try to sniff her. Jack is a big dog, so the plaintiff's dog panicked. That's your...
That's opinion.
That's what you think. And it snapped and lunged at Jack's nose.
That's what it appeared.
Well, that's not you. That's not... Just a second. That's not what you just told me. That's not what you just told me.
Okay.
So now I want to see the vet bills from Ellie, who I assume is okay. Is that right?
She is now okay, yes, after 3 days in the hospital,
Great.
yes.
Okay, so what are the vet bills?
Sure, let me show you. I also have the summary, the discharge summaries, in case you wanted to see the injuries sustained, but I will show you the bills first.
I would like to see the discharge summary as well after I see the bills.
Sure. So I have 2 bills. Do you want me to put them up one at a time?
Yeah, just tell me what the aggregate amount is.
Sure. So the aggregate amount is $4,591.72, and it's the total of 2 bills.
Okay. Now I'm going to see the discharge summary, please.
So here's the discharge summary, and here is the diagnosis of the initial injuries.
Okay. So this is what I think. I think that when you take your dog to a dog park and take it off leash, you assume certain risks. That's why I just never take my dog to a dog park. But I understand a lot of people do. Good for them. But the dog park, all dogs and big dogs with big dogs, I think that it is unwise to place your dog in a situation where they can get this kind of puncture wound and crushed ribs from a dog that is 3 or 4 times its weight. I also think, sir, that when you rescue a dog that is an older dog, a dog that's fully cooked at 3 years old, before you allow that dog to be free in a situation where they can cause injury, you should give it a little more time.
We had 9 training sessions.
Just the training sessions clearly didn't work.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, so I actually think that while you are partially responsible, Mr. Daniels, for the injuries that resulted in her dog being hospitalized for 3 days, which was quite a bill because vets are expensive, I also, Ms. Costa, think that you bear some responsibility. And you bear the responsibility of being an overly indulgent parent. Because if your 22-pound dog likes to play with big dogs, and you say, well, I'm going to take that risk that my dog could get seriously 10-pound whippet in the small dog area, but could get hurt by a 3-year-old rescue dog that the person really doesn't know intimately because they haven't raised it since it's a puppy and they really don't know what its potential is. So you had vet bills of $45.92, and each one of you is going to be responsible for half. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $22.96. Thank you. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Bottom line is, a small dog came into a large dog park that shouldn't have been there.
Size has absolutely nothing to do with it. His dog was aggressive.
Things happen, but that's not my fault or my dog's fault.
I'm so happy that she's okay. It was really scary.
After a death in the family, a tug of war.
Your mother signed a document that you should have the car.
That's correct.
What your sister did was pull a fast one.
Now sisters collide head on.
I'm trying to get what's going on here. You came in and you paid off the car.
They said it was going to go into default.
The car wasn't in default.
I didn't know that.
I think you played it cute.
This is suing her sister, Sandra Espinosa, for the return of a vehicle she claims belongs to her.
Judge, this is case number 133 on the calendar in the matter of Espinosa versus Espinosa. Parties have been sworn in. Be seated, please.
Thank you, Bird. Miss Espinosa, the defendant is your sister, and each of you claim that they own a car that had belonged to your deceased mother. That's what this case is about?
Yes.
So I have a few questions. First, who has title to the car in their possession?
I do.
What state do you live in, Miss Espinosa?
Utah.
And in what state did your mother live before she passed away in May of this year?
California.
And in what state did your sister live in May of this year?
California.
At what address did your sister live in February of 2020?
I believe she was with my mother in Marietta.
Yes, she did. She lived with your mother.
Yes.
How long did she live with your mother?
I'm going to say a year that I recall.
Was your mother sick during that year?
Yes.
What was the nature of her illness?
She had age problems and...
Miss Espinosa, what was wrong with your mother?
She had dementia, spinal stenosis, diverticulitis, heart issues.
Where had you lived before you moved in with your mother?
I was actually in Las Vegas.
Did you work?
No, ma'am. I was out on a job.
Okay. So that's what was wrong. Your mother had dementia. She had spinal stenosis. That's why your sister was there, at least in part. How many times in that year that your sister was there did you visit with your mother from Utah?
About 8 or 10 times.
Would you stay for any period of time?
At least a weekend.
And so it's your testimony that you were there almost monthly?
I tried to, yes.
If I were to ask your sister and the other people who were here as witnesses, would they say you were there almost monthly to see your mother?
Probably not.
How many times do you think that they would say you visited your mother in that year?
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5. Would that be a closer figure to how many times you visited your mother in that year? Close to 5?
No, I say 8, about 8 times.
Now, your mother had a 2013 Kia. Your mother died in May. Prior to your mother's death, did you purchase that car from your mother?
No.
In what month did you contact the finance company to see how much was left on the loan?
That would be in August.
When you contacted the finance company, can you tell me the reason you contacted the finance company?
To purchase the car, because they said it was going to go into default.
How would you know that? You had never been involved with the car prior to your mother's death.
Right.
What prompted you to call the finance company?
I didn't want them to repossess the car.
Listen to me. You were never involved with this car. What would have prompted you to call the finance company? I don't understand that.
Oh.
They certainly didn't call you. You weren't on the loan. So you contacted them.
Right. I just needed a car. It was a good car. I did not want it to go back to the bank. I wanted to keep it in the family.
Just a minute. So you called to see if someone else was making the payments. Because if they weren't making the payments, you could hop in, pay the car off, and get it.
Yes.
I mean, that has to be the answer. You called to see if someone else was making the payments. And what I want to know is, in what month did you call them?
The beginning of August.
Well, you wrote to Motor Vehicles in August. Show me the check or the proof that you paid off the car.
Okay.
I want to see what date it was.
Here's the wire transfer to the bank.
That was in July.
Is that July?
That was in July, not August.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had my wrong dates. I apologize.
And what date did your mother pass in May?
May 7th of 2020.
So the beginning of May.
Yes, ma'am.
Before your mother passed away, who made the car payments on this car?
My mother was making them up until about April when I got a phone call from the end of the conversation. The representative asked me if everything was fine, and I said yes, but she repeated the question again. I go, yes. She goes, well, just to let you know, you're 1 payment behind, and in 4 days you'll be 2 payments behind. The other sister that lives in Florida was in charge of her finances at that time, and the payments were to be made. I did ask my mother if she was aware that they had stopped making the payments on there, and she said no.
Just a second. Did you ever make the payments on the car?
I started making them after they told me that there was 2 payments behind. So the first payment that I made was for the sum of $800 in May.
So can you show me proof that you made the payment in May?
Yes, ma'am.
So that made up for April and May. Ms. Espinosa, did you make another payment in June?
Yes, I did.
Do you have proof of that?
I did have it because I did make the payment.
How much was that payment in June?
The payment was, I believe, $387, but my mom always made $400 payments, so I was making $400 payments.
Okay, and then you came in and you paid off the car.
Correct.
So the car wasn't in default. She had made payments on the car. One sister had, and then she made payments up for April and May and June.
In default already.
No, I don't believe that. Unless you have a letter from them that it was in default, she has proof she made the payments. It wouldn't have been in default.
I don't have a letter.
I think you played it cute. I think you had a paid-off car, and all it was going to cost you was $3,700. And you think that I'm going to help you? That's unlikely. Miss Espinosa, you have physical custody of this car. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your sister paid off the balance of the car.
I found out via letter. Yes.
This court doesn't think she should have the car because what she did was pull a fast one. And you're going to tell me that your mother signed a document that you should have the car.
That's correct.
In what month and year?
The letter was written on October 30th of 2019, and it was notarized on May 2nd of 2019.
Well, you see, my problem is, Miss Espinosa, that you testified a moment ago that your mother suffered from dementia.
Yes, ma'am. She was in the early stages of dementia.
And that, well, that's not what you said before.
No, it is not what I said.
And you said that your sister in Florida was taking care of paying for the Kia, which I assume you were driving.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I actually think that your sister did not do the right thing by coming in and calling the finance company. They're more than happy to have somebody. She'll pay off the car and will give her title to the car. Did your mother leave any other property other than this car?
She had her personal belongings also. There was a lot of undermining with that also.
But she didn't leave a house or any significant bank accounts?
No, she was renting, and the bank account was under my sister's name in Florida. She ended up with that also. Whatever my mom had in the account at that time.
This sister or the sister in Florida?
The one in Florida.
Ended up with that bank account. So they had a joint bank account?
Yes, it was originally under my name with my mother's.
And was your mother receiving Social Security?
Yes.
So your mother's Social Security check was going into that joint bank account?
That's correct.
And your sister was paying the car note from that bank check?
To my knowledge,
right?
Yes.
And how many sisters are there?
There's 5 sisters and 2 brothers.
Oh, big family.
Yes, ma'am.
Does anybody else want this 2013 Kia?
I honestly don't know because I wasn't even aware that this was happening until I called the bank after I received the letter indicating that my other sister in Florida was the owner of the car and they had paid the vehicle off. I did call the bank and I asked them how that happened.
Just a second. The car was in your mother's name and your other sister in Florida?
No, that's the document that I received after the fact.
But was the car in
my
your
mother's name solely?
And solely?
Yes.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just found out about all this shenanigans just about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, if that at all. I wasn't aware. When I called the loan company, I asked them what was going on, and they said that my sister in Florida had called them up and indicated that she was my mom's successor. So they sent her the documents so that she can sign up, and that's how they understood it.
Hold on a second. Are you in touch with your sister in Florida?
Yes.
Miss Espinosa?
Yes, I am.
You are? Oh, that makes it easier for me. When I say you're in touch with your sister in Florida, are you in touch with your sister in Florida about this car?
We were, but I talked to her every day besides the car situation.
Well, she was the one that was handling this. Who paid off the car, you or your sister in Florida?
I paid the car off.
Just look at me. With whose money?
My own money.
Did your sister send you any money?
No, she did not.
Was there any money in the joint bank account that your sister had with your mother?
I don't know that financial.
That's a yes or a no. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You know because you speak to your sister every day. How much money was in the joint bank account that your sister had with your mother?
I don't know because I don't handle the financial stuff.
Well, then I'm going to ask your other sister. She's going to give me an answer. And so if you don't know, I'm going to believe her answer. Do you understand that?
Yes.
How much money was in the joint?
There was approximately $8,000 in there, and then the stimulus check was added on there on April 29th of this year.
And do you know how much money your mother received from Social Security every month?
To be honest with you, no.
Was your mother a working person?
Yes, she was.
Before she got sick?
Well, she had been retired for a few years already at that time, but she was also receiving compensation from my father's retirement also.
And do you know how much she was receiving?
No, ma'am.
I'm going to repeat myself. Did your sister send you any money from your mother's joint bank account?
She did not, Your Honor.
Did you ask her about it?
No, I did not.
I don't believe that.
Tell her why she started paying. Can I please say something?
Yeah, now I'll hear you have a witness?
Yes,
Sure. Come on up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Miss Espinosa.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to take a look at these bills while you had control over your mother's finances. So I'm going to ask you, did you ever use any of that money at casinos?
Christine Espinosa claims her sister, Sandra Espinosa, is in possession of a vehicle that belongs to her.
Yeah, now I'll hear you have a witness?
Yes.
Sure. Come on up.
Hi, my name is
Who
Michelle
are you?
Espinosa. I am.
What
so
I wanna
the
know-
reason
what I want to-
that the sister in
Don't-
Florida started taking over the payments was because we found discrepancies and withdrawals in the statements that Sandy was taking money out near gambling places, near casinos and things of that nature, $400 at a time, $300 at that time. I have the statements here on credit cards that were in Georgia's
That's from-
name only. In the time frame that we're
were in-
discussing, from
Just a second.
August to February.
Okay. So what you're saying is that the defendant had control over some aspect of your mother's finances, and that was changed.
Correct, because of the evidence that
So
we
your
found.
sister in Florida.
Exactly, because there was
Okay.
something that was not adding up.
How much was not adding up?
I have it
much?
here
Look
in
at
the thousands. I have it all highlighted on the money that she took out in the different places. I would say at least $3,000.
And this was from...
Of the statements that we have. We don't have all of the statements. And she was paying her phone bill out of it, and she was paying her psychics, like all sorts of different things out of her mom's.
Okay. Did you have discussions with the defendant in front of your mother?
Yes, my stepson did, and his
No,
mom.
I want to know if you did.
If I did not, in
I
front
wanna
of
know
her,
if you
no.
was-
I had
no,
a discussion
no,
with Georgia
no.
regarding that
Not
time.
interested. Not interested. Not interested. Miss Espinosa.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to take a look at these bills while you had control over your mother's finances. So I'm going to ask you,
Yes.
did you ever use your mother's account when you had control over some of your mother's money? Did you ever use any of that money at casinos or to pay a phone bill of yours?
Yes.
Yes,
that is true.
because-
My mother was aware of it because I asked her if I can use her credit card, and she was aware of it.
Oh, no. No, that I don't believe.
Okay,
No,
no,
that
no.
I don't believe.
No, it is the truth. I don't know if you believe me or not, but the withdrawals were withdrawals that I did for my mother, and I asked her on several occasions because she asked me if she could take money out of it, because I asked her to take the money out of one of them to consolidate all her credit cards. And then she finally asked me for the cash. She says,
Okay.
Mom, do you need it? She says, no. I says, and why do you want me to take it out? She says, because it's my money. That was her answer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Your mother didn't go to a casino, did she?
No. I went over that way, and I
No.
told her I was going to withdraw. from
All
her.
right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to get what's going on here. Now I'm going to hear from... Pick which witness you want me to hear from.
Probably Karen.
Miss Espinosa.
Miss Karen Wilson. She's a good friend of my mom.
Okay.
She's known her for over 30 years.
Okay, great.
Judge
Your intention to sign title over to her.
I'd like to take the car home with me.
But you don't have the car. And I know that you would prefer to have the car because it's a good little car. But I actually think that you were a Swiftie.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Christine Espinosa is accusing her sister, Sandra Espinosa, of withholding a vehicle she has the title for.
Miss Wilson, you were a friend of Miss Espinosa's mother for how long?
Probably about 30 years.
Did you see her in the last year of her life?
Yes, I did.
Who was her primary caregiver the last year of her life?
Sandra was.
How many times did the plaintiff come to visit in the last year of her life?
I had never seen her there before. This is the first time I've met her or I've seen her. But from what Sandy told me, when she came, it wasn't.
No,
that...
don't tell me what.
Okay.
Don't tell me what Sandy told you. You never saw her.
I never saw her.
Was her last name Espinosa? Your friend.
Well, I knew her as Georgia.
How often did you see her?
Probably about once a week.
Did you ever have discussions with Georgia about who she wanted to retain this car?
Yes, I did. Back in 2018, Georgia was be a big fight with her family, and it upset her. She was concerned about it. And I told her, I said, the way you can get around that is just make a list and who you wanted to go to whom. And so she had discussed with me and another longtime friend that, she wanted Sandy to have the car for taking care of her because she did such a good job. And she did. When I went over there, the house was always clean. Georgia was always fed. And, she was doing good.
Well, so this is my question to you. Somebody paid off the car. Somebody was going to have to pay off the car. Make regular and consistent payments on the car. Otherwise, it was going to be repossessed. The plaintiff, although I think her motives were not born out of goodwill, and certainly the timing was not consistent with being a relevant sister, she did pay off the car. Your friend has been driving the car for about how long? 6 months? 8 months?
Actually, the
about
car,
6 months.
The car's been sitting for about 2.5 months when all this started.
It may have been sitting, but prior to that, you drove it.
Not frequently, but yes.
You drove it in May, you drove it in June, you drove it in July, you drove it in August, you drove it in September. Then this all started, May, June, July, August. $1,200. That's the only money that you say you paid towards the car.
Yes, I was making the monthly payments on there. The day after my mother passed.
You made $1,200 worth of payments.
At that time, yes.
At any time. You never made any other payments towards the car.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, now, the only thing that you paid towards that car was $1,200, and you drove that car May, June, July, August, and September for 5 months. That's all I'm saying to you. That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
And your lawsuit, actually, you're asking for $3,700, which is what you paid when you paid off the car, because your sister actually has physical possession of the car.
Yep.
Now, is it your intention to sign title over to her?
I'd like to take the car home with me.
Well, you don't have the car. And I know that you would prefer to have the car because it's a good little car. But I actually think that you were a Swiftie. So I don't think I'm going to make that judgment, which is $3,700. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you. In order to get that, we will hold up the check. When, in fact, you sign over title to the car, you get your check. Do you understand?
Yes.
Otherwise, you get nothing, and you don't have a car.
Okay.
Got it?
I got it.
Perfect. We're done. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Just vendetta. That's all it is. Just bad blood, what have you.
I don't believe it was a vendetta.
They were all there just a couple days after my mom passed, and you have to get out of the house.
I wanted the car because it belonged to my mom. It meant a lot to me.
You have to get out of the house. When? Now.
I don't believe she deserved it.
I mean, electricity was turned off and everything else. Yeah, it's all wrongdoing.
She's stealing from my mom and taking advantage of her.
They came in. You have to get out.